That's one of the stories.
That's it. Yeah, it is. It is one of the stories.
And it could be the same story where when the husband found out, he said, "What are you doing with that fat old man?"
Yeah, yeah.
And what was revealed is that this is a girl who grew up without an affirming father figure. Yeah. And it didn't matter what the physical appearance was. This was a man who was that father.
He was. Good listener, didn't take advantage of her initially, always seemed to be there. And that's often called a family of origin void, too, where there's been an absentee parent of some sort or another. So we bring these deficits into marriage, and we often want our spouse to try to satisfy them. And you can't make a man your father and your lover. You just can't do that. And you can't make a woman your mother and a wife. It's terrible to make love to your mother. It sounds disgusting, I mean.
We don't know subconsciously we may be looking to our spouse to fill that missing experience in our life. What a pressure.
And then, go ahead. Okay.
I'll let you finish.
Okay. Then there's always a void in a marriage. And no marriage is perfect, and a marriage was never intended to satisfy every need. So there's always little deficits in the marriage that sometimes can be significant as far as making you particularly vulnerable. I'll give you a great illustration. My wife was born to dance. She loves to dance. She never had to take dancing lessons. I've taken dancing lessons, I don't know on how many cruises. I've ruined cruises taking dancing lessons because I can't do it. I don't feel the music. Oh gosh, it's terrible. So I tease her all the time. Well, in your next life, baby, you're going to have to go find somebody that can dance with you because I just am not going to be that person.
But would it bother you if she's having a good time dancing with someone else?
Oh, sure it would. Sure it would. That's why I don't send her to studios to learn. Because it would bother me. It would just be troubling, And it's not so much she would do anything wrong, but I think it just is a special vulnerability we don't have to expose ourselves to in this culture.
A little hard on the male ego.
Oh, it is. Yeah, it is.
Especially when you've tried.
Yeah, I've tried. Trust me, I've tried.
What do we do about all these things, Dave? I mean, most of us wouldn't even be aware of these danger areas in our own makeup so that we can be on guard against that dangerous partner.
Well, remember the dangerous partner profile person is just a bits and pieces. They're not a name, Tommy or Jane or something like that. They're just a template, so to speak, of collage of all of your life's experiences. But when you meet them in sustained stress, it's a lock. It's just a lock. You don't even know why you're attracted to them, but it's just a lock. It's very different than the friendship that develops over time because of a job or a passion or an interest or a ministry. This is an immediate lock.
You don't know what unmet need or longing.
That's right, until it's touched.
Is being fulfilled.
Until it's touched and tapped into.
I hope this isn't a left turn, but I think it does tie into the dangerous partner potential. Sexual fantasy. Again, the Barna survey, 40% of evangelicals said, no problem with that. You would not say that.
I would not say that. I would not say. I think just because people report that and feel that way, I think that's a very risky thing to do. Fantasy was a major factor in pastors who committed adultery. So I think we're fooling ourselves. Actually, what we're doing, we're drawing nurturance from the fantasy. We're self-soothing from the fantasy. And when you're soothed or care for yourself that way, then your spouse is unable to meet some of those needs in your life. And the big thing again, secrecy, you're not sharing it, so you cultivate a huge fantasy. In fact, that's one of the issues we do in a class 3 sexual addiction process. We have to stop all that fantasy, get the sexual feelings and desires down into a normal range so that the sexual relationship between a husband and wife is emotionally satisfying to the addict. Because if we try to do marital therapy too quickly with the recovering addict, he or she, whichever one it is, won't be happy with their spouse. They might have stopped their addiction, but they're not emotionally satisfied. So they will begin to sneak up and build extra things into it in their minds, first of all, and really get themselves in trouble if they're not careful.
We're asking you to take in a lot, aren't we? I can't tell you how eye-opening all of this has been. And started with a broken heart. A broken heart over, really, it was 2 pastors who walked away from their marriages, and you were just a young Christian. And God used that brokenness to lead you on a path that is impacting couples around the world. Close Calls. You won't believe this book. Well, you will, because the stories are all true. What adulterers want you to know about protecting your marriage. And, of course, Torn Asunder is the workbook that has helped couples to rebuild what they probably thought could not be restored. A lot of homework in both books, charts and surveys. The kinds of things we're touching on are opened right up. So although I've expressed a little bit of concern about, how do we get a handle on all this, you have given us the tools, Dave. And they're very effective. We actually had fun with some of these on the weekend.
They are fun. There's nothing threatening about the exercise.
It's a great way to begin to really get to know your spouse.
Yep.
Guard your heart. That's a great encouragement. Actually, Proverbs 4:23 says, above all else, guard your heart. One version says, everything else depends on it. It's not just about sexual fantasy. It's about where are all those thoughts going. We have so much more for you. Dave, I'm glad you're with us for the whole week. Thank you for being with us for this segment, and we want you to come back tomorrow, and maybe what you need right now is to talk to somebody. Our prayer lines are available. God bless you.